Hello, my name is Megan. I'll be presenting What If Two Avoidants Entered a Relationship. We'll first start by playing a little game to find out which attachment style you're in. Someone just sent you an email. You A. Pretend that it does not exist for a week, reading it thoroughly before deciding if you should respond or ghost completely. If yes, compose a perfectly grammatical response, then send it. Add a smiley emoticon so they don't think you're too cold, or just leave it. B. Read the message, maybe take a day to think about it and send. It's that easy unless it's about a job you're not ready for and doesn't align with your interests. C. Reply in a day and tell them some information that they didn't ask for but you just thought would be nice to share. D. Pretend that it does not exist for an hour. You sweat like crazy thinking about how to respond and then you overshare, send it, and immediately regret because the receiver ghosted you. Go on you for oversharing. Okay. Someone just sent you a WhatsApp message. You A. Firstly, turn off your last scene and your blue tick, or maybe you don't, you just leave people on deliver and to blue ticks, it's not your problem. B. You read it and respond appropriately when you can, or totally not if it doesn't require anything. C. You respond immediately with many emojis and stickers. D. You long press it to see the message without going into the chat, especially if it's very long or about a job interview. Why did you put your contact in your resume? Why? Be anxious, respond, and retreat from the phone until they respond. This cycle repeats itself a few times, especially if the responder is excited. Okay, someone wants to be your friend in real life. You, A, if they are not too excited, you're like, sure, let's be friends, reluctantly clutching your pearls. If they are very excited and frankly not your vibes, you immediately find a way to escape. Someone help! The exclamation mark is a huge step of vulnerability for you, BTW. B. Say sure or politely decline if they are not the right fit. OMG, let's be friends! Yes, that's C. And I hope they are not too scared of my happy whimsicality that's you on the inside. If you are a very positive, anxious attachment person. D. Okay, sure, but I'm just curious, why do you want to be friends with me? Obviously, the I'm just curious, why do you want to be friends with me is on the inside. Okay, moving on. You want to be someone's friend. You, A, smile around them and actually laugh, secretly hoping they get the hint and ask you whether you want to be friends or hint at the concept of you having similar interests as them, or you just sit next to them in class. B, let's be friends. Okay, no. A secure person wouldn't be so excited. I mean, they might be so excited, but yeah. C, OMG, you're like so funny. Let's be friends. Okay. D, sit around them and talk about some random things in your life, trying to make it funny or interesting, or find some common interest so they can see that you're as interesting as them and then treat you like a friend. Okay. Someone did something nice for you. You A, say thanks, or you say nothing because that little smile on your face is it all. If they knew you, they would know that you feel extremely grateful. You don't have to apologize for your inability to express emotions. B, say thank you and mean it with eye contact. Eye contact. Say, oh my god, thank you so much. You are the best. I love you. Even if the person is not your partner, and try to hug them. D, say thank you and mean it with eye contact, but then panic because was that too much emotion? Were you too vulnerable? Okay. If you answered mostly A's, you're avoidant. B's, you're secure. C's, you're anxious. And D, you are disorganized, otherwise known as fearful avoidant or a combination of anxious and avoidant. Wow, you are so talented. Okay, so the difference between the few is that one is okay with or often starts the conflict. These are the secure and anxious attachments. Then there's another one who's not okay with or avoids conflict or like frankly like communication in general. So they're the avoidant and disorganized. Okay, and then we'll move on to secure coupling. So you have the Adams family, the Morticia and her husband. There's David and Patrick in Schitt's Creek. There's Jake and Amy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's the Belchers. There's Pam and Jim from The Office. There's Frankie and Mike from The Middle. Then we go to the anxious avoidant coupling, which is the most common pairing, toxic pairing, love hate pairing, whatever. I'm sure you have seen it. Maybe some of your parents or you may recognize some of yourselves here. But like it's really common. So yeah. Um so what is this love hate thing? So when the anxious person gets close, the avoidant person runs away because they're like, oh, this person has needs. I can't stand that, even though I myself has needs. But I have not been able to express my needs because when I expressed my needs as a child, no one noticed. And so, like, when someone expresses their needs to me, I can't handle that. Okay. And then the anxious person is like, oh my god, I'm still needy. Like, I'm still needy. And then the avoidant person is like, stop being such a crybaby. Yeah. And then after a while, because the avoidant is not a psychopath, I think, I hope, the avoidant goes back to the needy person. The avoidant goes back to the anxious person for a while. And after that, they can't stand it again. So they have to like go and find their independence. Yeah. So the types of types of coupling that you see anxious avoidance are like Jen Levison and Michael Scott in The Office. It's okay to not be okay. There's even like a cutesification of this anxious avoidant pairing. So there's like the black cat avoidant, there's the anxious golden retriever. Um, so what I really want to get into is the avoidant pairing. Have you seen it? It's rarely cited, but like I think that it's like also there's also potential for that to exist, but I searched it on Google and Gemini told me that like Sherlock and Irene Adler have it or some shit. But yeah. Okay. Um so how did I really get into this? Is because okay, I'll just come out right now and I'll say that I'm a fearful avoidant. And then when I was like interacting with some avoidant people, I just feel that like the way that we interact just it's either that or personalities just made it like quite hard to like maintain a relationship. So that's how it ended. So I was thinking, can I be with an avoidant person? And I think that's actually happened and I'm so sorry to my friend, but my best friend I believe is avoidant. So she is an evolved avoidant, I will tell you that. She is an evolved avoidant because evolved avoidants know that they are avoidant, but they will still try their very best to communicate. And even if you're with a not evolved avoidant, the best thing that an avoidant will do for you is firstly, okay, so we go on the steps to like how much an avoidant loves you, okay? First step, they um they respond to you quickly. Yes. If an avoidant responds to you quickly, that's a good sign. The second thing is if an avoidant um expresses their feelings to you. Yeah. The third thing is if an avoidant like says that okay, if an avoidant actually does the action, if an avoidant actually like says I will work on my commitment issues and works on it. Like you can see them actively like taking steps like I am going to work on my commitment issues by buying my partner something or like having the conversation about something that we have been postponing for so long. Yeah. So eventually, what I want all of us to get to is that labeling is not that important, and it's better to grow and evolve beyond the label, like attachment styles. And while we may have these like attachment styles, it's not supposed to be a hindrance. It's a way for you to like evolve beyond the comfort zones or like behaviors that are prescribed or like you think like most represent you. And like you shouldn't like lean on, okay, I don't want to prescribe, but you should try not to lean on like your attachment styles as like a crutch for you to continue being like irresponsible or unkind. And yeah, you can just be a better person, okay? Don't need to say like, yeah.